There's a small beach in Japan that they say you won't find on any map. For a period, this was true, and although these days you can quite easily find it on Google, in the past, attempts were made to remove it from all public maps, and thus, from public consciousness. The events that went down at this beach were so strange and so horrific that the government took the rare step of trying to erase the beach from people's minds entirely. It came to be known as the beach that disappeared from the maps. This beach, which you can easily find in Google Maps now, is called Hamashuku. It's a section of the much larger Kujukuri Beach, a popular strip of sand and sea in Chiba Prefecture. In the 1980s and 90s, however, finding Hamashuku was much more difficult than it is now. In fact, it wasn't until the internet blew the case open that many people learnt of its existence. So, what exactly went on at Hamashuku that was bad enough to warrant removing it from maps? The tale of Hamashuku is a strange, frightening one. It all began on January 18th, 1982. A man was out for a walk at 7:50 a.m. when he came across a car on fire, roughly 20 meters from the water's edge. He called the police immediately, and once they were able to put the fire out, they discovered a body inside the boot. The fire had been so intense that only the skull and a section of spine remained. In the ashes, they found what appeared to be a metal hook from a bra, so they assumed the victim to be a woman. They were right. Investigations revealed the car belonged to a female bar owner in Chiba City, roughly 30 kilometers away. She had gone missing 2 days earlier after leaving work. They never discovered who may have killed her, or why. She was 44 years old, and although this held no meaning at the time, it soon would. On April 6th, a few months later, a different man was out for a walk on the same beach at around 7:30 a.m. when he too stumbled across a car on fire on the beach. He called the police, and they found the burnt remains of a person in the driver's seat. This man had taken off his shoes and watch and left them outside the car, along with the vehicle inspection sticker, leading them to believe that this death was a suicide. The man turned out to be a bus driver from Togane City, only a short distance away. The man had also left his wife a letter that stated, "Please look after the kids." He was 44 years old. A few weeks later, on April 21st, the head of the road management office was out on patrol in the early hours of the morning when he found a truck on fire in the same spot as the previous 2 cars. He alerted police and again they rushed out, the 3rd time in as many months. Again, they found a dead man in the driver's seat. This man was an office worker from Kashiwa City, roughly 50 kilometers away. Similar to the previous male victim, he had called his wife the night before and told her, "I won't be home again." As with the previous 2 cases, he was also 44 years old. You can no doubt imagine the confusion and fear the police felt by this point. 3 cars found burning on the same section of beach, all within a few months of each other, and each victim being 44 years of age. Yet, the first case appeared to be a murder, and the following 2 suicides. Other than the manner of death and their ages, nothing else matched. A few weeks after the 3rd car was discovered, yet another car was found on fire a short distance away. This time, 2 bodies were found inside. A 44-year-old father and a small boy, presumably his son. By this point, rumors were spreading thick and fast. Hamashuku Beach was cursed. 4 adult victims burned to death in cars, aged 44. 4 being such an unlucky number didn't help matters. A local newspaper at the time came up with an interesting theory as to why the beach was apparently cursed. They lay the blame on Ryujin, the dragon god, or the god of the sea. Apparently, locals had upset him because they were trying to remove an old rotting shrine gate that stood at the entrance to Hamashuku Beach. Because of their insolence, he had cursed the beach and already claimed 4 victims. Of course, this was just a wild theory, and whether anyone officially believed it or not is up for debate. But it seems that, either way, the local government didn't want to take any chances. A Shinto priest was called in, and he performed a purification ceremony on the beach to soothe Ryujin's wrath. The priest claimed that numerous spirits lingered on the beach, and these spirits were calling people to them. In addition to the purification ceremony, he vowed to hold a memorial service for all who had died there. Perhaps fittingly, it rained heavily on the day he performed the ritual. And it seemed he was successful because the strange deaths stopped after that. It's important to note, however, that the beach was also closed to the public around the same time, so whether this was just a coincidence or not is also up for debate. With Hamashuku's main entrance chained off, people had to go the long way around, on foot, to reach it. This was possible, but extremely difficult, and it took a long time. Thus, naturally, foot traffic dried up, and people started to forget about the beach, just as the government hoped. Hamashuku became a ghost beach, and its name was removed from maps. It wasn't forbidden to enter, officially, but it was made extremely difficult to do so. Yet it might not be the strange deaths that saw the beach get closed after all. Hamashuku, despite the fame it gained after a series of burning cars, was never a popular beach to begin with. It was small and difficult to reach even when it was open. Only a single road led to it, and there was no parking nor any other amenities. Most people went to the nearby and much larger Kujukuri Beach instead. Hamashuku, however, was also home to loggerhead sea turtles and various local birds, and if you believe the rumours, it was actually for this reason that it was closed off to the public. One conservationist working at the beach claimed to remember the strange incidents that took place there, but refuted that the beach was ever haunted. He claimed that it was closed to protect the wildlife. If cars couldn't get in, it would be harder for people to get in. And if people couldn't get in, the wildlife would have a much better chance at survival. In either case, the beach was closed and it seemingly faded with memory over time. It was only in recent years, thanks to the internet, that people once again became aware of what happened at Hamashuku all those years ago, and once again, it gained popularity as a ghost spot. People who have visited the beach in recent years claim to have seen ghosts on the sand, sometimes burning, sometimes not, and hearing cries despite nobody else being around. People are also warned not to go near the beach if they are 44 years old. Nobody has died in the last few decades, but you never know when Ryujin's curse might come roaring back to life again. Better safe than sorry when it comes to the gods, after all. Hamashuku is relatively easy to find, even if you can't find it in any old maps. The large shrine gate that was supposedly the cause of all this still stands at the entrance, right next to the highway, although if you want to visit yourself, you'll have to park much further away and walk all the way back. Probably for the best, considering Hamashuku's history with cars. Why so many cars were found on fire on Hamashuku was never solved, nor why all the adult victims were 44 years of age. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.